Shuttling from one meeting to the other, a busy day for the incoming AU chairperson. The first meeting of the day was at the event where there was a handing over as South Africa leads the Climate Change Committee.
To register concern at the nature of and restrictions associated with the support that is available. We are finding it increasingly difficult to access support for large-scale transformative climate efforts because most of the support is no longer in the form of grants, but rather comes in the form of loans, also in the form of guarantees or blended financing arrangements with ever higher co-financing thresholds and conditionalities. This trend is clearly exacerbating the debt trap and forcing greater reliance on the private sector that is in the main risk averse and focus more on commercially viable mitigation solutions such as renewable energy rather than adaptation.
The next stop was at the infrastructure event. South Africa has been championing the campaign to improve infrastructure in Africa.
The continent needs to continue providing leadership in the climate change negotiations, including ministerial organs down to African group negotiations. We are highly indebted as a continent to your work on climate change.
We must think creatively and expansively about how we can close this financing gap that exists. We also must be open to various financing models, such as public-private partnerships, commercial loans, developmental funding, sovereign bonds, private equity type of funding, and many others. Furthermore, as the bank has noted, the excess savings in many advanced economies could be channeled into financing profitable infrastructure projects in Africa. The issue of risk in Africa is often exaggerated. The risk of loss in Africa is lower than, for instance, in Latin America. Yet funds are not being channeled into Africa. For example, there is some $8 trillion of assets under management in London, but only 1% of that is invested in Africa.
The president takes over the leadership of the African Union on Sunday. Sophie Mukwena, SABC News, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.